It's not my fault. I was caught at a crosswalk on my way back from getting coffee.
How many times do we have to talk about this? You've got to factor coffee into your commute time.
I would have just crossed at the red, but they've been handing out jaywalking tickets.
Hey, whatever it takes to keep it safe out there. Do you know how many people have been hit by a bus on this street?
Enough to make me late for work?
Welcome to Rewind Video. I'm Bob.
I'm Rob.
And we love movies. Good ones, bad ones, old ones, new ones, movies for everyone, movies that might get you put on a list for watching.
I mean, we do actually have lists of people
yeah.
here.
It's true.
Of people who rent movies.
Yeah. Listen, Rob, I want to take it back to the good old days. Back when we were kids, I had a local video shop. I know you did too. We rented movies, maybe not from the same place, but nevertheless, we were both bringing them home on VHS. And there was something that was true of every film that you popped into the VCR before the studio title cards popped up.
Yeah.
It was always there. Do you know what it is?
It was the government warning.
Yeah, the FBI warning. Yeah. It was always there, threatening, and if you did anything malicious, like
you wouldn't
duplicate
steal a car, would you? I mean, we all remember that.
Right. Yeah, the government would be on your ass.
Yeah.
I didn't take that too seriously, did you?
I mean, I downloaded, not so many movies, but I downloaded a lot of music.
Yeah, same. And
pretty sure the statute of limitations has run out. I think we're cool.
I hope so.
Yeah. And I also don't have that music anymore, so try to prove it.
I copied a lot of
FBI.
tapes.
Yeah.
And downloaded a lot of movies.
That's true. I did just copy some tapes. But they eventually figured out a technology to keep us from doing that.
Yeah, they did.
And then once DVDs came out, it was even harder.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes for a good segue because as listeners know, you and I are responsible for stocking the old staff recommendation shelf here at the store. And each time we update the 6 films on the shelf, we adhere to a theme. This week's theme is government.
And we're here to help.
Right.
By recommending movies.
That's true.
That's what we do.
So I don't know about you, but my feelings on the government these days definitely influenced my picks this week. I mean, there are plenty of films that delve into the realistic workings of government, but I wasn't really feeling that.
Interesting. You want to see the destruction of government?
Maybe.
Because it sounds like you're getting your wish.
Quite possibly.
That is actually a weird thing because, it's hard, being pro or anti-government is hard to, nail down what position you're in because it's I don't like these things, but everyone's for the government doing the things they want, right?
Right.
Even people who are, completely anti-government really aren't.
Yeah.
They're stay away from me, but
fix my roads.
Yeah, but even the idea of keep people away from me, let me do whatever I want. Usually the government has to step in at some point and be let this guy do what he wants.
Yeah, you're relying on them in some capacity.
Yeah.
How did you feel about this scene? Was it I mean there's a lot of movies that we could have picked.
Yes, I didn't go into it with an ideological bent. I was just trying to pick some movies that featured government. I think there's a streak amongst all of our movies. We always talk about our star ratings when we give these recommendations,
right?
And I think it's important for us to note that we are big fans of the 3-star movie.
Yes.
And looking at the ratings that I've given for the movies we have tonight, this is a fairly low number if you add up all the stars and divide it by how many movies we're bringing.
Right.
But I gotta say, this was a super fun week to watch all these movies.
Yes.
It was very satisfying. These were 3-star and above comfort food movies.
Yes.
Not because the government is involved. I'm positive because of that.
Not, no.
I think because it's been so hot. We're in the summer months.
Right.
I think me and you, just completely subconsciously, were I just want to pick some movies that go down real easy because I'm tired. It's 95 degrees outside.
Yeah. I don't want to think too hard or read subtitles this week.
Yes, thank you, Bob.
So, yeah, I agree with you. And it bears reiterating.
Yeah.
The 3-star movie is just it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
We like it.
In fact, I think I want to address something from our last episode.
Okay.
I think I need to amend my Speed Racer rating down to 2 stars.
No.
I think I might need to do that.
No, I would say maybe watch it again first before you do.
Okay.
Yeah. Give it one more viewing. I thought you were going to say
but I don't want
you're going to bump it up.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to, and I think that's what tells me that like maybe it's a 2-star movie because I still like a week later here I am. I'm like I kind of resent the fact that I had to watch that or that it was what it was. I don't know. Oh, wow. And I even said during our conversation that I felt like a coward for not giving it 2 stars, and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, I kind of am. Like if I don't like something. And I'm afraid to give it 2 stars. Why am I not giving it 2? Like, what am I afraid of?
That's fair. Let me make one final request, and I'm going to make this of you and invite our listeners to do the same because there's probably some people out there that are like, I'm not fucking watching that, or I did watch that and I hate myself for it. I've mentioned Patrick Willems a few times on the show. I am a big fan of his movie essays and his takes on films. He has a great video on why Speed Racer might be the most important movie of the 21st century.
And you sent that to me.
Yeah.
And I would have watched it, except it's an hour long. And so I didn't have time to fit it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting perspective, and I respect his opinion. But I disagree.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is fine.
That is fine. We don't.
But it got me thinking because this week I have some movies on our list tonight that are 3 stars that I like so much more than Speed Racer, and I'm like, why am I giving Speed Racer 3 stars when it's clearly in my heart it's just not. So
I'm just looking ahead because countless themes in front of us, lots of episodes yet to be recorded, and I feel like there's gonna be a day where you're where I am at today and giving Speed Racer maybe 4 stars.
I'm open to that possibility.
Yeah.
I hope I live long enough that my opinion can change that much. But we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, why don't you give us your first potentially 3-star movie?
Okay. I'm going to take us to the year of 1999.
Okay.
Last century. The movie is Dick. This is filed under appendages.
Right. I'm surprised you didn't bring this for the pleasure category.
I don't know that there's a ton of pleasure in this.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Here's the back of the box. 2 high school girls wander off during a class trip to the White House and meet President Richard Nixon. They become the official dog walkers for Nixon's dog, Checkers, and become his secret advisors during the Watergate scandal. Tagline, he was tricky, they were better. It's kind of like cute and flighty, kind of like the movie is.
Yeah.
So this is an alternate history political comedy starring Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams, who kind of Forrest Gump their way into the Nixon White House. We also get Dan Hedaya, who's Nixon. We also get Will Ferrell, Bruce McCullough, Terry Garr, Dave Foley, Jim Brewer, even Ryan Reynolds for like a jump scare second. Yeah. So because they think that Dunst and Williams have like seen something during the Watergate break-in, because one of them happens to live in that apartment complex and they were at the Watergate break-in when it happens. Nixon's like, hey, aren't those the same girls that saw the crime? Like, shouldn't we keep them close? And so they hire them to be dog walkers or whatever. Mainly they're just like, keep them close so if they start talking, we can, I guess, assassinate them. I don't really know. But the truth is they don't really know what's going on around them because they're not really paying that close of attention. Even though Nixon and his entire administration was committing crimes in every direction you could think of.
Yes.
But eventually these girls do figure out, because of like how he acts, how he talks, how he treats people, how he treats dogs, that Nixon is an untrustworthy monster.
Yes.
You know, they were able to see him for what he is, even though they don't really know what he's doing that's wrong. They even like get physical evidence of crimes and they're like, whatever, we don't know.
Yeah.
But they know he's an asshole.
Yes.
So the White House is the seat of the federal government. And so theoretically, this should be like the cream of the crop when it comes to the government, right? Yeah. But that's obviously not how it works.
No.
But one thing this movie plays to sort of comedic effect is how government, like every other organization, is just filled with people who are just regular ass people who are like just doing their job. They're just trying to get through their day. You know, not everybody's a video store clerk.
No.
So like some of these people are just people just trying to do their job and like, you know, do what they got to do to get home at the end of the day.
Right.
And like some of those people are like dumbasses and some of those people are corrupt and some of those people are, you know, slobs.
Yeah. Now more than ever.
Now more than ever. Yeah, it's on TV constantly. It's on the internet.
Yes.
But I like how Kirsten Dunst and Michelle Williams, they just have like a real fun energy in this. Yeah. Especially in contrast to the pouty fascism of Richard Nixon.
Yes.
And I like Hedaya. I don't know. He's like doing a Nixon, but it's not too heavy-handed.
No.
That's an impression that's really easy to get. I don't know, a little bit, especially in the 90s.
Yes.
You know, there was a lot, and he is. I mean, Nixon was kind of like that anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, he just looked funny. He acted funny. He was always sweating.
I thought his take was really fun and good. You know, it didn't feel like it was necessarily trying to be pitch perfect accurate. It just was. Yeah. It was his version of it, and you bought it.
And the first half of this movie toys with him being a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
Right? You see like the human side of him, and then the second half of the movie, like you don't really see, you know, he's basically like, oh no, that was just kind of an actor. Like he just has put that part aside, which is pretty much what everybody says about Nixon is like, yeah, he like had the capacity for humanity, but he just chose not to, you know? Will Ferrell plays Bob Woodward, and he's like pretty understated, I would say. Like this is not really a Will Ferrell role.
No.
And he feels a little out of place, I think.
I still loved his dynamic with Bruce McCullough. And
well, that's what I was going to say. I could not take my eyes off of Bruce McCullough.
Bruce McCullough's so good.
Insanely awesome in this movie. He has, like 3 minutes of screen time or something? But like, I don't know, the way he played him as like this, like a prima donna, like a buffoon, a dork. Like, I couldn't really tell. I can't put my finger on it, but I was just completely fascinated by it. Like the way he like pushed his hair back and like, oh my God, it was great. And I think it's a pretty good last joke for a PG-13 movie. You know, I think you know, it's a little on the nose, but but it's pretty good. So Dick, it's rated 3.5 overall on Letterboxd. Yeah. 397 users have it in their 4 favorites, and 20% agree with my 3-star rating.
I'm right there with you. This is like Clueless meets All the President's Men.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like this is one of those movies that kind of was disregarded by critics at the time. Yeah. And people have gone back to it and I think have like overrated it because they're like, this is actually not a piece of shit. So, but I think it's like a pretty solid like 3-star movie.
I agree. I think that naively, some people might say that this is a movie about stupid girls, but it's not. It's a movie about a stupid system. Yes. And I mean, they end up being the ones who do the right thing. And you know, like, I appreciate it. I hadn't seen this before, and I was glad to have a chance to watch it. It surprised me. I couldn't believe all of the people who just kept showing up on screen that I didn't realize were in this.
That's what 1999 was like, man. Someone who agreed with my 3-star rating was DSoul15, who says in their review, the thing about Dick is that it does something so smart where every other movie has failed in the quarter century of movie making since, is that it relegates Ryan Reynolds to one scene and never brings him up again.
And thank God.
So I'm putting Dick on the staff recommendation shelf tonight for the topic of government.
It's a great way to kick us off. I don't know if I would have ever picked this up. I mean, I was familiar with it, and I remember it coming out, and clearly I didn't remember enough about it to realize how many stars were in it, but it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, I'd heard enough people over the years say like, oh, it's actually like it's better than you think. Yeah. You know, enough for me to check it out.
Yes, agree. All right. Well, I'm going to take us to 2013. A little bit forward in time from your 1999 pick. And I'm going to the Die Hard's Not Dead section of the store. Ooh. My first pick is Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, it's gone down.
Yeah. Here is the back of the box. When the White House Secret Service code Olympus is captured by a terrorist mastermind and the president is kidnapped, disgraced former presidential guard Mike Banning finds himself trapped within the building. As the national security team scrambles to respond, they're forced to rely on Banning's inside knowledge to help retake the White House, save the president, and avert an even bigger disaster. Tagline: when our flag falls, our nation will rise. No thank you to that. But Olympus has fallen. So I did not know that this was directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Yeah.
Which... what a surprise. I'll be honest. I had not seen this going in. Mm-hmm. You have for a long time been talking up Jerry Butler.
I have.
And
largely based on this movie and its sequels.
Yeah. And yeah, you put Butler on my radar with some picks for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then Den of Thieves got him squarely in my sights, and I've come around. I have to give you credit. You are right. He is great, and I'm just ready for more Jerry Butler on screen.
I'm happy you're in this place.
Yeah.
I'm happy you've gotten there.
Now, I admit, when this first came out, I was imagining just, run-of-the-mill, PG-13, popcorn flick, not even like blockbuster status, but like, here's an action movie. And this came out at the same year as White House Down.
Yeah, this is one of those dual
Channing Tatum,
dual ideas. Yeah. Which that movie's okay.
That one's fine.
Yeah.
But this was not what I thought. This is a hard R. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Antoine Fuqua, no stranger to that type of action movie. And he delivers here. And the film's better for it. I just thought it was great for how hard in the paint it went at times.
Jerry Butler's whole career has always has that little bit of like VOD energy.
Yeah.
Where they're going for the R rating. They're going for the gnarly kills, and so you recommend it to your friend on video,
Yeah. So Jerry is great here, but Aaron Eckhart, I thought, played a very convincing president.
Yeah.
Wish we'd get presidents that young. At the time in this movie, Morgan Freeman is Speaker of the House. He's not vice president. He's Speaker of the House. But yeah, there's quite a star-studded cast, and obviously this fits the theme for many of the same reasons that Dick does.
Yes.
This is entirely about the apparatus of government being compromised and then violently reclaimed. But yeah, the White House, the presidency, the Secret Service, and the chain of command are all central to the action here. In fact, I like, and we'll talk about this more later tonight, I like how present the Secret Service is and how much credit they get for being some pretty potent bodyguards.
I mean, that is,
that's their
theoretically,
job.
They're the best.
They're the best.
The best bodyguards in the world.
Yeah. But let's see. This was shot primarily in Shreveport, Louisiana, which surprised me. A lot of green screen here, but nevertheless...
Famously no White Houses, though.
Right. Nevertheless, I think the action was believable. It didn't feel like you're watching a bunch of CG. And in fact...
No, I mean, yeah, as far as like it's CG. Like, a lot of it's CG, and that's fine, but like, it looks pretty good, I would say.
I agree. Yeah. Jerry Butler was actually a producer on this and probably helped get the sequels greenlit. Mm-hmm. But there's also the fact that this made $170 million worldwide on a $70 million budget. So it did well. Like I said, why did I choose this? You've made me a full Jerry Butler convert. And I like the rest of the cast. This was... we don't get as many R-rated action films as we used to.
Yeah.
And this reminded me of Under Siege in terms of like the type of energy that it has.
I mean, it is very by the Die Hard book.
100%.
Right? Like even like beat for beat at certain points. Mm-hmm. There's even a scene where Gerard Butler is having a smoke with the bad guy, I think, where he doesn't realize it's the bad guy.
Yes.
And it was like, and it's a little bit different dynamic from Die Hard, but it is kind of the same scene,
Right. And we've covered plenty of movies that follow that blueprint really well, and when it works, it works. And I don't get tired of seeing the Die Hard formula adapted to new settings and new characters. But this is just plain fun. There's no winks here. There's no irony. It's just high stakes, high body count action, and that's great.
I found I guess it's a grammar mistake in your movie, and actually, there's another one later for spelling mistake potentially.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I wonder if they're doing this on purpose. But did you when the chyron comes up on screen when they're showing like the cable news thing, it says terrorist attack the White House. Did you notice that?
It says terrorist attack
the White House.
The White House. I did not notice that, but
like huge
that is a typo.
Or it's just someone doesn't know how to write it.
Right.
And I'll tell you the other one later when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. So, no surprise, this isn't the type of movie that critics typically celebrate. And admittedly, it's not especially groundbreaking entry into the Die Hard on a blank category. But does that mean it's not fun? Certainly not. It averages a 2.8 on Letterboxd. I actually gave this the rare half star. So I went with 3.5 stars here. 307 people have this on their list of 4 favorites. There's George Carmey's review, which I plucked, who also gave it 3.5 stars. And he said, I've seen everyone's bad reviews, and I've decided they're all wrong. This movie rips.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
If I were to give 3.5 stars, if I was gonna sell out like that,
right,
I probably would give it 3.5.
Yeah.
I love the attack on the White House is great. I think that's like the best part of the movie. I think it's fairly by the book after that.
Yeah.
But so it's a 3-star movie for me.
Yeah.
This isn't my favorite of the series.
Okay.
But it is good. I mean, like I said, solid 3 stars. You know, it flirts with 4. I like it a lot. You know, it's a little, it's not amazingly written.
No.
You know?
No. Someday we're going to have to get into the other films in this trilogy, but what I will say is that Jerry Butler is great in this part. I believe him as a Secret Service agent, and he's good.
There's a scene where the president is asking Dylan McDermott. He was like, "Hey, why did you commit treason?" And Dylan McDermott's answer literally is globalization, Wall Street, and then that was it. That was the whole explanation. It was like, he's like, "You were a member of the Secret Service and you committed treason. Why?" He's like, "Oh, you're globalization and Wall Street." It's like, okay, all right. I guess that's a good enough reason.
I suppose so. Yeah.
I think that kind of like says what kind of movie this is. You know?
Yeah.
They're like, that's enough. The audience for this doesn't care enough.
That's not why they're here.
Yeah. Which I wasn't.
No, but I am throwing it on the shelf. Olympus has fallen. It's going up. And if you have become a fan of Jerry Butler in the same way that we have, give it a watch. It's a good one.
Nice. Good recommendation. I'm going to bring us up to the year of 2003. Movie is Head of State. Head of State from 2003.
Okay.
This is filed under Black Dave.
Is that a deep section of the story?
It's the only movie in that section. Back of the box. When a presidential candidate dies unexpectedly in the middle of the campaign, the Democratic Party unexpectedly... Wait. Yeah, they said that unexpectedly twice.
Okay, yeah.
Unexpectedly picks a Washington, D.C. alderman as his replacement. Actually, I'm not even sure that it's like explicitly the Democratic Party.
I thought that was pretty clear.
I mean, I thought it was pretty clear, but I don't think they ever actually said. Maybe they did.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Yeah, hard to remember.
I don't know. I think that's an underwhelming back of the box either way. Here's the tagline. The only thing white is the house. So this is Chris Rock's directorial debut about a local politician who gets chosen kind of at random, it seems like, to be the party's nominee for president.
They thought they were going to lose, so
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the party figures they're definitely going to lose because they're picking somebody at the last minute. Mm-hmm. So they might as well like send a message to their voters with who they pick, but then also not pick somebody who will like ruin their reputation by losing an election. Which I'm like, I guess that's like they couldn't find anybody.
Right. Just no one out there.
I mean, like, it's obviously the world was different back then, but like nowadays it's like, oh, who cares if I lose? Like, imagine how all this attention I'm going to get. I can turn it into books and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that was true back then too. I think that was just kind of like a whatever. This seems like a good way to make this movie work. So they pick Chris Rock to show that they are like racially progressive, and then he'll lose and go back to being a nobody. And this was a few years before Obama.
Yeah.
So the idea of a black president was still treated as almost like science fiction.
Yeah, it was novel.
It was like, okay, like we got to come up with a crazy story for how a black person can become president.
Yeah, W was in office. And
it's like, well, the white guy's got to die in a plane crash, and then they got to have this dumb idea, and then they pick a guy. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's like the only way it could happen, right?
Yeah.
That's like the joke premise of the movie is like a black guy becomes president. Can you believe
Can
this?
you imagine?
It is kind of ridiculous how they're like in a room and they're like, all right, this Chris Rock guy, he could be our guy.
Yeah.
And then it's like cut to he's the nominee. You know, like there wasn't even like they didn't even pretend that there was any sort of like process or that there was any sort of pushback or that anybody else was like, hey, like, can I do it? Like, can I run for president? Like, I literally will just do it.
Nobody else wanted
and
this?
like, there was no argument. It was just like, okay, this is who it is. And so like, it reminded me of something we've been talking about how in the 80s and 90s there was that confidence that movies had. They're just like, we're just going to do it, and the audience will just just it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like this might be pushing it a little bit too far.
Perhaps.
Because even I was like, what?
Yeah.
That's the next scene?
Yeah.
Like, he's just the guy? And also this is like kind of weird for a 2003 political comedy because it definitely seems, especially like the black guy being a president is part of it, but like it seems like this is a movie that was conceived probably in like the mid 90s and it bounced around and by the time it got greenlit and produced and it came out, like it was after 9/11 and George Bush was president and like the low stakes fun political comedy like didn't really exist during the war on terror, I would say.
I could see that being true. I also...
We started bombing Iraq 1 week before this movie came out.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, kooky black president. Like, I don't know that the country was ready for that. And I think maybe some of the rough edges of this movie were like an attempt to make it seem like a 2003 movie.
Yeah.
Even though it was like an idea Chris Rock had from like 5 or 6 years before.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's some awkwardness to that storytelling, I think. There's not a lot of government in this movie.
No, but it's present.
It's government adjacent, and like elections are a part of government.
They sure are.
You know, and I mean, maybe the worst part of government, but like they're part of government, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I just think this is a good, fun, chill cast. I like Chris Rock when he's like being the candidate.
He's not annoying in this, and I find him annoying in some films, especially where he's playing a starring role.
Yeah.
But he's good here.
Yeah, especially when he's like giving campaign speeches, which is like just this kind of stand-up, really.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I think That Ain't Right is a winning message in 2025. I think this guy as the candidate, if he comes out today, people would be like, he's our guy. Like we don't really give a shit what else is going on. Like he's fucking pissed about this.
Yeah.
Bernie Mac is not in this movie enough.
No.
They're like,
you can almost say that of any movie he's in.
Almost every movie he's not in. I mean,
that's true.
but like, they bring him in at the end with like 20 minutes to go. It seems like they're like, he's the vice president. It's like, okay, like you could have done that 45 minutes ago.
Right.
But yeah, this movie, I think it's just at its best when it's not trying that hard, you know, when it's just like Chris Rock and like, you know, his lady friend just like chilling, or him and Bernie Mac doing bits against each other. Like, I don't know. I just think it's like, when it's not trying to make sense, which it doesn't really.
Yeah.
I think it's just a fun watch.
I agree. I'm curious, have you seen Down to Earth?
I have not.
So that's another Chris Rock movie. Mm-hmm. He helped write that. And that's a movie where he kind of gets a second chance at life, comes back as a white guy. And it feels like that was almost a rough draft for this. There's a lot of interesting parallels, but at the same time, I also think this is a story that Chris Rock very much wanted to tell, and he's probably the right guy to do it. You know, it was, especially for the time, exactly what it needed to be. In spite of the fact that, politically speaking, in the real world, there probably wasn't much of an appetite for this, but you know, it was still fun.
Yeah, it's a fun, 90-minute comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a 90s comedy, even though it's from 2003.
Yeah, we're just in the beginning of the 2000s.
That's why I called it Black Dave, because it feels like Dave's another one of those movies. Like, it's about a president doing like president stuff, but like there's not a lot of stakes involved, which I think like nowadays, even going back to like anything post 9/11, I think it's just like it's hard to pull that off.
Yeah,
but so it feels like a 90s vibe in this.
I like that this makes. This is definitely poking fun at the political machine and skewering it a little bit. And I don't know, maybe it's just the times that we're living in, but I feel like that should be done more often, and it's ripe for skewering.
I agree.
So I'm glad that Chris Rock did it.
Head of State is rated 2.8 overall on Letterboxd. 25 people have it in their 4 favorites, and 28% agree with my 3-star rating, including Kyle P100, who says, "So glad Americans aren't real." So I'm putting head of state up on the staff recommendation shelf this week for government.
Love it. This was a good time. All right, so Rob, I imagine that you'd agree I'm the type of guy who isn't afraid to give untested directors a chance, right?
I would say that's true.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be turned off by a movie because someone at the helm just hasn't had a lot of experience behind the camera.
No.
Yeah. So for my second pick, I found a film that fits our theme to a T.
Yeah.
It's directed by an Iranian-Swedish man.
Wow, how did you find this movie?
I know. His name is Babak Najafi. Mm-hmm. And this was actually, at the time of release, only his 3rd feature film. So what I'm going with for my second pick is London Has Fallen.
Oh, it's going down.
2016. Yes.
It is going down in this episode.
Yeah. Falling left and right. Here's the back of the box. In the wake of the British Prime Minister's sudden death, world leaders converge on London for the funeral. But the event is actually a coordinated trap orchestrated by terrorists to assassinate every major head of state. Secret Service agent Mike Banning must once again protect the president and find a way to stop global chaos from erupting. Tagline: the world leaders have assembled. So have their enemies.
Oh, sweet.
I'm here for that one.
Yes.
So yes, we are going with the sequel to Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah.
For my second pick, London Has Fallen.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah. I just couldn't get enough.
Apparently.
Yeah, so we get a new director for this. As I mentioned, Fuqua was busy with the Equalizer movies, but the screenwriters and most of the cast are coming back. Jerry Butler, obviously here, so is Aaron Eckhart, Morgan Freeman, Angela Bassett, Melissa Leo, Radha Mitchell, and Robert Forster all return. This time around, the setting moves across the pond, and Jerry has to kind of contend with London, a siege happening on London, and his attempt to thwart it.
He's also constantly contending in all of these movies with his relationship with his job.
Yes.
Because he's always on like the verge of like having to quit or like be like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. He's got a family, he's got a family and a wife, and we don't really know much about them, but it's clearly...
But we know they exist.
They do exist, and they are competing for his time and attention.
Yes. It's his version of, this is my last, just like one last job, or like, this is, I'm like, so this close to retirement or something. Exactly. He's always like, just one more week, and then I'm going to quit.
Yeah. But maybe it's because he just pours himself into his work the way we see him do in these first two movies that makes it tough to decide whether he's going to continue. But yeah, this is bombastic and a little bit silly, but it's still rooted in a vision of government structure, crisis response, global diplomacy, and imagines a doomsday scenario where we're asked to consider what would happen if the heads of every major government were wiped out in a coordinated attack. Yeah. And most of them are,
I mean, a lot of them, which would can you even imagine? But that does bring up an interesting aspect to movies about government, is chain of command and who's in the line of succession for a certain post, and these movies address that, and that's part of the plot.
It's really sophisticated stuff.
Yeah. It's these movies are very sophisticated when it comes to government.
Yeah. So they did shoot this in London. They scraped $10 million off the budget from the first one and gave the filmmakers $60 million this time. This was also shot in Bulgaria. There was still some heavy VFX, but at the same time, a lot of action. I would say the action is increased. With this time around.
It's bigger, it's faster.
Yeah, we're all over London. We're not just in the White House.
It makes it seem the scale is so much bigger because we're on the streets of London. We're at different places all constantly instead of just inside the White House.
Right. I did find it fascinating. Well, maybe not even fascinating. Perhaps the better word is just a little curious and maybe silly that. They sound the alarms across London that shit's going down, stay in your homes. And apparently everybody abides by that because there's a lot of scenes where the streets are utterly empty. And I found that a little bit hard to believe. But
I think because London was destroyed by bombs. And I think the culture is just when you hear the sirens, you get inside.
Yeah.
Because
you keep calm.
Yeah.
You carry on.
If you live in a place where that's never happened, where we live,
right.
We're why would you do that? You hear the siren, you're whatever, nothing's going to happen.
Sure.
But London was destroyed. And so I think people
very much on a big scale.
Yeah, they have it internalized.
Indeed. So this is another one that Butler helped produce, and screenplay was written and rewritten several times by various writers, which maybe contributes to the fact that the tone here is a little bit more chaotic than cohesive. But despite negative reviews, this film earned $206 million worldwide,
nice.
And solidifying the trilogy's continuation. I chose this because while we're outside of D.C. and outside of the White House, this is still a fun ride. We're very much still immersed in government and what's going to happen if shit goes real bad real fast. And, of course, thanks to the ever-reliable Jerry Butler, this is fun to watch from start to finish. So he's got this, barely concealed disdain for bureaucracy that's it just doesn't really get old.
You need a little bit of that in all of these kinds of movies.
For sure.
You need the guy going the rules, which is what government is.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciated that this went international and kind of expanded the scope of the storytelling. And the action remains, like we said, hard-hitting. The it's dumb fun, but done with conviction. And, what better way to explore the theme of government than to blow up most of them?
Yes.
This was less popular with critics than its predecessor, which is kind of strange. It also made more money. Averages a 2.6 on Letterboxd, with only 155 users having this on their list of 4 favorites. I have this at 4 stars. I liked that we went to 11 on a lot of what the first movie did at 10.
2.6 is a joke.
It is a joke.
Who's watching that movie and giving it a 2?
Morons. Yeah.
There's there's some things about this movie that are unbelievable, I guess. Like the terrorists, there's no way you have that many people involved in this plan.
Certainly not.
And it still works, without stuff getting leaked. It seems like everybody knew the plan. It's that's not, that would never work.
No.
But Yeah, I mean, this movie fucking rips.
It does.
Yeah. I give it 4 stars. Like, this is a 4-star movie.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the action is a step up from the last one. I think it's more sustained. I think it's a lot more interesting. I think it's cool that they're in London. I think this movie is fantastic.
You know, a criticism of all of these films is that a lot of reviewers comment on these being patriotic propaganda.
Yeah.
And I get that with like movies like Lone Survivor or Black Hawk Down or something.
Yeah.
I do not get that from these movies.
Yeah.
I feel like we're just here to tell an action story.
I'm pretty allergic to that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I don't get that from these movies at all. You know? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have to have a little bit of that because that's what the story you're telling. Like, I'm trying to protect the president. You know, you have to. Somebody has to go like, well, this is for America, right?
Right.
What else are you supposed to say?
But at the same time, you know, like these films make America and international governments look pretty weak and unprepared for shit.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're trying to tell a patriotic propaganda story, that you're not going to go that route. And so, like, you know, I really enjoyed this, and I'm right there with you, 4 stars. Let's see, I did pick a review from Matt Lynch on Letterboxd who said, gleefully violent, front to back stupid, politically reprehensible, genuinely exciting. Basically a killer direct-to-TV action movie that escaped to theaters. It even has a giant CG faux long action take sequence. Butler is hilarious.
That's true.
All of that is true. So London Has Fallen. Going on the shelf alongside Olympus Has Fallen. I know people are going to be critical of 2 movies from the same franchise being on the shelf.
That's a wild move by you, Bob. The spelling mistake that I found was when they showed, because I always have the text on the screen when they introduce characters at the beginning of these movies.
Yeah.
They're like, this person's the secretary of whatever. Well, then when they showed the Secretary of Defense, they wrote Secretary of Defense on the screen, but they spelled it with a C. Which is how you spell it in England, but like it's an American Secretary of Defense. This movie is American. Just because they're sitting in London doesn't mean you call most of the movie. I don't even remember if the character was in London, but that doesn't matter, right? Like it is the Secretary of Defense with an S. And so I was like, are they fucking with me in this? like that's the second one of these movies in a row that I'm like, it's such an obvious spelling mistake or a grammar mistake, and I'm like, it seems like they're doing it on purpose.
Well, next time I watch these, I'm going to scour the credits for a proofreader and see if anyone is listed. And
I mean, maybe it's a Canadian movie, and I didn't realize. I'm not sure.
Well, Butler's from Scotland, right? So
yeah, true.
Yeah, so
he's like, you got to spell it like this. I'm not going to be in the movie.
I'm not going to start it.
He's like, I have one note on the script.
Changes that to a C.
Okay. All right, I'm going to bring us up to something brand new.
How new?
2025.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Not exactly the golden age of government, but nonetheless, the movie is Heads of State.
Well, we just did Head of State.
This is Heads of State.
Obviously the sequel to Head of State.
Not the sequel. Well, I mean, technically, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you go. Tell me about Heads of State.
Well, this is filed under tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the back of the box. The UK Prime Minister and US President have a public rivalry that risks their country's alliance. But when they become targets of a powerful enemy, they're forced to rely on each other as they go on a wild, multinational run. Allied with Noel, a brilliant M16 agent, they must find a way to thwart a conspiracy that threatens the free world.
All true.
Yes. Tagline, 2 heads are better than 1. Which I don't... yeah, okay. I mean, it's funny, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's a little cute, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that's fine. The movie's cute.
Yeah, it's so cute. These guys are cute. This is an action buddy comedy starring Idris Elba and John Cena as the Prime Minister and President who get shot down over Belarus while they're traveling in Air Force One.
Yeah.
And then they basically have to fight their way back to a NATO summit that's going on in Italy.
Yeah.
So Cena is a former action movie star who is in a very Rambo-coded movie series. I think it's called Water Cobra.
Yes, something like that. Yeah.
Like exposed arms, big guns. You know.
Yeah.
So he rode that fame to the White House, and then Elba is like very British and buttoned up and well-read and doesn't take John Cena seriously, and so they don't get along.
Yeah.
Which is threatening to for some reason throw the world out of balance because these guys kind of don't get along.
Right.
Until, of course, they have to get along, and then eventually they do.
Yeah.
So basically, this is just diplomacy in a way. Like it's personal diplomacy, it's national diplomacy, and and that is just a part of government, right? Like you have to learn to get along, maybe with even countries you don't like at all, or hate, or disagree with on a lot of shit. But you have to figure out a way to make it work, or you can just go on an adventure and be best buddies by doing it that way. And that's what these guys do.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of that's what World War II was. But yeah, this is a fun, star-driven action comedy.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly silly action movie. Elba and Cena, they have a pretty good comedic chemistry, I think.
It left a little bit to be desired for me, but I was able to look past it. I smiled. I don't know that I laughed a lot, but there's some funny jokes.
Yeah, funny jokes, but I just mean their energy together is it's very it's a fun energy.
Yeah.
I don't know that there was a ton of huge laughs. I'm not. It's not that kind of comedy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge John Cena fan necessarily.
No, neither am I.
I don't dislike him so much, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan. But I felt like he was pretty good in this against Idris Elba.
Yeah, I feel like John Cena, while he's done a great job parlaying his wrestling career into success in Hollywood, is right for very specific parts and not right for others.
Yes.
And I for instance, I loved him as Peacemaker in the series that James Gunn did. This was a little harder for me to swallow, but at the same time, I think it was supposed to be hard to swallow.
Yeah.
And it's kind of imagining a world where what if Schwarzenegger in his prime became president?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. But he's also kind of just the stereotypical dumb smiling American.
Right.
Where you have the very serious British guy, then you have the American who just puts a grin on their face and is oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
And Cena's perfect as that, right? As the caricature of America.
Yes. And I also feel like it's not only creating a caricature of America in the form of Cena, but the fact that he got elected and his just kind of bumbling charm was enough to get him into the Oval Office is also a criticism of just our country, and an accurate one.
Which I don't think, and I don't know the English system, the British system all that well. I don't think their system is designed in a way where that would happen, because it's a parliamentary system. And I think you have to do very different things to win elections and become a prime minister and stuff.
The resume's got to be a little bit more solid.
So movie star is not something you can just be all right, I'm going to stop being a movie star and become the prime minister. But in America, our system's dumb enough where you can do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You could even be a reality TV personality.
You can be a game show host. and a failure in life and still become president. I also think, these guys are so in that sense, they're both kind of believable as being world leaders, because John Cena could become president in this country. Idris Elba, he just has a dignity about him that he just seems like he could be a prime minister, right?
Yeah.
But they're also good action stars. They're both believable at that. And then this is another one where there's a lot of CGI. It's a mid-budget action movie, but I think this looks pretty good.
It does. In fact, there are some moments in this movie where the filmmaking is ambitious.
Yeah.
And the fight with the Belarusian guys on the farm is really well shot, and there's some surprising just takes in that I was excited when I saw it because I was like, oh man, are we going to get a lot more of this? And we didn't. But even that they gave it to us there was awesome. And the Jack Quaid sequence was good.
Yeah, there's some interesting flourishes, like the way they have like the kind of mini montages where they tell the backstory real quick. Like that's not something I've necessarily seen like that before.
Yeah,
and I kind of dug that. To open the movie on this tomato fight that's like taking over a whole town, like that was cool. You know, you don't see that a lot. So like, yeah, they did some cool things in this.
I feel like there's a moment in the movie where Cena is talking about his acting career and acknowledging that he hasn't been in like a Wes Anderson movie. Right. And then, later in the movie we get these segments where they're showing characters traveling and they shoot it and cut it like a Wes Anderson film. Movie. And so I feel like that was very intentional, but fun. Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening here.
I mean, there's good explosions, there's large scale attacks, there's some good hand-to-hand combat, there's a plane crash, big, satisfying, coherent action scenes. Yeah. And it's under 2 hours. Which in 2025 is saying something. This is a 113-minute action movie.
For sure.
So Heads of State is rated 2.7 overall in Letterboxd. 12 people have it in their 4 favorites. 33% agree with my 3-star rating. Pretty rock solid 3, I'd say. I flirted with 4. I don't think it's a 4-star movie.
It's 3 stars for me.
It's no London Has Fallen, but it's a super satisfying Saturday afternoon action movie.
Yeah. So I thought Idris Elba is always fun to watch. John Cena, good opposite him. But my 2 favorite actors in this were Stephen Root and Priyanka Chopra Jones. Yeah. They were phenomenal. I mean, Stephen Root's always good. Yeah. But, those 2 supporting characters really kind of stole the show for me.
Yeah, I would watch another of these if they have something else in that universe.
There's got to be another one coming. What I will say, and perhaps I'm just sensitive to this because of my first 2 movies, but a decided lack of Secret Service / security detail. Even when now I know that they're off on their own for a large portion of this film, but even once they're back in civilization, it just doesn't seem like these guys have much protection. And they probably should.
The waters get a little muddy too at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you could look into that. I know you're like a big Secret Service nerd.
Now I am.
Letterboxd user that agrees with my 3-star rating is Stephen Christie, who says in his review, "If I had a nickel for every time this movie referenced the Bush administration, I'd have 2 nickels," which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
That's fair.
So Heads of State is my last recommendation this week for the topic of government.
It's a fun collection of films.
Yeah. Like that's what I said at the top of the show.
Yes.
I was like, listen, this is going to be fun. All the movies I picked, I gave 3 stars, but I like them all. I recommend them.
Well, I know I probably ruffled some feathers with picking 2 movies from the same franchise for my first 2 picks. I am going in a slightly new direction with this third movie. We're going to talk about government through a different lens. Here, kind of tackling the concept of governments outsourcing to private military contractors, and most importantly, what happens when the government turns on one of its own, which it's not out of the realm of possibility. Not out of the realm of possibility, and certainly unpleasant. So I plumbed the depths of our shelves, and what I arrived at as my 3rd selection is Angel Has Fallen. Oh. Yep. We're rounding it out. The whole trilogy. Back of the box.
You also chose Falling Down, I'd like to point out, for the shelf once.
I did. Yeah.
So, I don't know, you're enamored with the concept of falling.
It's hard to stay upright these days.
Wait, I chose a movie called The Fall.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. It might be a theme for us.
I'm going to look into this.
Okay, so here's the back of the box. After a treacherous attack, Secret Service agent Mike Banning
I know that guy.
Yes, he is charged with attempting to assassinate President Trumbull. Morgan Freeman, he's ascended to president. Chased by his own colleagues and the FBI, Banning begins a race against the clock to clear his name. Tagline, loyalty is under fire. I mean, okay.
Yeah, they can do better.
Not as good as the movie.
No.
So, once again, we have a new director. This is Rick Roman Waugh. And the third entry in the unexpectedly enduring Has Fallen franchise that centers around Gerard Butler's Mike Banning. So here, indeed we do pivot away from terrorist attacks on cities and government entities and focus on a more internal threat, which is corruption inside the American government and with perhaps private military contractor help. So this has a little bit of a grittier tone, and certainly not worse for it. But yeah, there's a different flavor here than we get with the first two films, but it's still high-octane action. Morgan Freeman returns as President Trumbull, although in a reduced role, and Nick Nolte shows up as Banning's father, stealing some scenes. He's a kind of a survivalist, lives in the woods type of dude. But as I mentioned, as it relates to fitting the theme, we're still very immersed in government here. In fact, a lot of what we're hearing about in modern times, which is government outsourcing security functions to private contractors. Definitely highlighting some over-reliance on corporate entities and the erosion of accountability in those relationships. But we also have just the topic of government trust. I think that when you have action franchises, it's not often that we see a character dealing with his or her legacy from movie to movie. And you actually get that here. Mike Banning has a reputation for being the guy who, I mean,
he's been around for a lot of stuff going down.
Yeah. And then, he's turned into a scapegoat. So we get a little bit of institutional paranoia here, which kind of spirals into chaos. The production budget went down again. I don't know, $40 million for this, so significantly less than London Has Fallen.
Wow.
Filming here took place primarily in the United Kingdom and Bulgaria. We do get some new characters. So Morgan Freeman's back, obviously Jerry's back, but in addition to Nick Nolte, Danny Huston shows up. He's great, I think. We also get Jada Pinkett Smith, who kind of swoops in and plays a version of a version of a role that we saw in the first two films. So apparently, all of the stuff with Nick Nolte and his little survivalist compound was a late addition to the movie, but absolutely became like a highlight of the film, at least for me.
Somebody looked at it and they were like, "We just need more explosions."
Yeah. So why did I pick this? I couldn't do the first two without doing the third, and this leans fully into the franchise's formula while still doing just enough to differentiate itself. We're obviously focused more on Jerry here than ever before, and he is struggling more than he was in London Has Fallen with keeping this job, and he's got some physical setbacks.
He shouldn't be doing the job.
No, he's done it for a while and done a great job, but time to hang it up.
Yep.
And so what we lose with Morgan Freeman taking a little bit of a backseat, I think we do gain in Nick Nolte's grizzled bunker dwelling dad, and Tim Blake Nelson, who plays the vice president here, is always fun when he shows up on screen. The action remains R-rated and satisfying. Set pieces are solid, and Jerry does what Jerry does best, which is take a beating and keep going. It's I think a fitting conclusion to one of the more surprisingly enduring action trilogies of our time.
It might not be the conclusion.
It might not be.
Apparently there is one in the works called Night Has Fallen.
Oh, really?
But I have not seen like too much confirmation on that, so who knows if we'll see it.
Well, they're running out of money to take away from the budget. So,
I mean, you got to spend money to make money.
Yeah.
Right? I like that they keep trying different things. You know, like they're sticking to a formula, sort of, you know.
For sure.
But from movie to movie, they do seem like different movies, you know, like that are inside the White House, and then they're in London, and it's a very different feel, and then in this one, it's a very different feel, and like even the like big attack at the beginning with the drones and stuff is like very different from what they were doing before.
Yes.
So like I like that they are trying different things. Maybe part of that is because they keep taking away money from the budget, but like they're making these different movies, and not just making the same thing over and over again.
No. And they keep being successful. People keep going to these films. This one made $146 million on a $40 million budget. It averages 2.7 out of 5. I have this at 4 stars primarily because Nick Nolte, who showed up and was a surprise to me, was fucking brilliant. He's perfect for the part and just chews scenery. He's great.
And the explosions are pretty rad.
The explosions are great. There's no shortage of them here. Only 9% of people agree with my 4-star review. 61 fans have it in their 4 favorites. I plucked a review by Dan McCoy who said something along the lines of an observation you just made, which is everything keeps falling. You'd think they'd tie it down. I, for one, am glad that they didn't because it gave us a very fun trilogy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where did you have this?
It's a 3-star.
Wow. So London Has Fallen is the peak.
It's my favorite.
Oh, wow.
But this one's, this one's pretty close to 4, maybe one day. I feel like London is just like that much better, you know?
London seems to be most people's least favorite. So I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean,
wrong.
They are often wrong. Most people are often wrong. They're usually the people that are writing the backs of the boxes.
I mean, first of all, like, it makes no sense that these movies are all like 2 point something, right?
Yeah.
Like how many movies did we have tonight that were rated on Letterboxd 2 something? I think most of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Especially like these Fallen movies. Like who's rating this 2 stars? I don't get it.
Are you not having fun?
Yeah. What are you expecting?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then again, there are people who will watch something like this, rate it 2 stars, and put a review up going like, great action movie. You know, so like I don't understand people.
I don't either. I know that the folks who have Portrait of a Lady on Fire and their 4 favorites are not coming to this and being like, yes. But I have Portrait of a Lady on Fire in my 4 favorites, and I fucking loved these. So
everybody's got their own ways of rating movies, and I think the way we do it's just a little bit different.
Yeah. Rob, I'm just going to say it. I think we should run for office.
President of video.
Yeah, why not? After diving this deeply into government, I'm ready to go headfirst into politics now.
I think we have a better handle on how things work than a lot of people who are in charge.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Just based on watching these movies.
It doesn't seem that hard.
No. If Richard Nixon can figure it out.
Right. So we chose 6 government-themed films for the shelf tonight, and the movies we selected are Dick, Head of State, Heads of State, Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and Angel Has Fallen.
If you don't have time to stop into the store, you can visit us 24 hours a day at rewindvideopod.com. You can also find us on Letterboxd or Blue Sky, or send us an email at rewindvideopod@gmail.com. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to, and share the podcast with all of your friends who love movies.
Yeah, surely you have some.
I mean, I don't want to assume anything, but like,
maybe those people
a lot of
also
our
like
customers
podcasts.
do have friends.
Yeah,
I'd like to think that anyway.
Yeah. So it is once again time to look ahead while we start laying the foundation for our political campaigns. We'll be switching our attention from governments to systems. Maybe we'll listen to the Robert Palmer song "You Are in My System" to inspire us.
Maybe we will.
Yeah, give it a go on the old iPod.
Sure.
As usual, we'll have 6 movies to recommend, but if you're looking for something in the meantime, feel free to hit us up for a movie to watch, and we will see you next time.
be kind, recommend. Hail Satan.